Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm rising in strong support of the measure.
In strong support.
Mr. Speaker, there are a few names that haven't been mentioned, and I would like to mention them today because we all owe a deep debt of gratitude to the late Senator Spark Matsunaga. Let me go back to the early days when I was fortunate enough to be one of the attorneys representing the Protect Kaho'olawe Ohana. We went into federal court before visiting Judge William Schwartzer, and Judge Schwartzer granted our motion to let the Ohana go onto the island again for the first time in I don't know how many years, to be able to go on and participate in the archaeological survey. So we went out in small boats. The wonderful people of Maui took us out to the island, and we had our gear in trash bags, ukana, and we swam ashore in the shark-infested waters, but we swam rather quickly and got ashore and set foot on the island again and began to do the archaeological work that was so important. At that point, the Navy wanted to put a range control tower up on Mo'oula, which was one of the sacred areas on Kaho'olawe. And the person that came to our defense to help us was Senator Spark Matsunaga. Without his strong leadership in Washington and working for us to prevent that range control tower, that area would have been desecrated. So I then go back over to the Capitol at that point, and there was a young representative fresh out of law school that was here in this chamber, the former Representative John Waihe'e. The very first thing he did as a legislator was put in a measure urging that the entire district of Kaho'olawe be placed on the National Register of Historic Places. And he was successful in getting that measure passed, and we were all together successful in getting it placed on the National Register of Historic Places, which gave it the sort of uncomfortable distinction of being our only National Register bombing site. So we then fast forward to some other people, and Representative Pat Psyche worked very hard in Congress and with the president to stop the bombing of the island, and she was successful in that. I also think that we should stop and think about young Kimo Mitchell, Uncle Harry Mitchell's son, who was with George Helm when they both disappeared in the waters off of the island when they were trying to go ahead and further the restoration of Kaho'olawe, the return of the island to the people of Hawaii. So those names are so important in the history. Senator Spark Matsunaga, who came to our defense and preserved the island's integrity. Representative John Waihe'e, with his very first legislative effort, successful. Kimo Mitchell, George Helm, and I'm sure there are others that should be mentioned, but the island is so important. It became the birthplace of the Hawaiian Renaissance, and I think of the many names, Dr. Emmett Aluli, who is just a true leader, and someone that has done so much, not just for the island, but for the people of Hawaii. So thank you for letting me say those words in support.
Thank you. And Representative, if I may, if it would be your desire, feel free to submit those names that you may have missed to the journal.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.